This programme is brought to you by Vinny.co.uk.
Welcome back to the Champions League pool. Me and Simon have just about got our breaths back after a quite extraordinary end to our last match between Craig Lakin and Dave McNamara. About a minute left on the clock. Dave needing a really tough clearance to tie the match and give him a chance of a golden break to potentially go and win it. And golden break it was. Simon, absolutely remarkable. We've just seen him running around the arena, actually, Dave McNamara. He's been in to tell us that it was fully as played and as intentional. Look, we'll hear from him in a little bit, but that's remarkable stuff.
It's incredible, and we've talked about other shots throughout nights being the difference between winning and losing groups. That could be the moment that's won him the group now, because he's got it in his own hands in the last match. If he gets any point out of his last match, he's through. But it wasn't just the golden break, it was the frame before when he was 3-2 behind. You know, it's a minute and a half on the clock, and, you know, Craig Lakin's got the match in his hands, really, and a massive bit of fortune for David McNamara, it has to be said. But he's grabbed that fortune and he's run with it.
Hasn't he just? Well, we can take a look at the table, actually, between these four players, because it now stands very, very interestingly indeed. Our next match, by the way, will be Craig Lakin against Karl Sutton. That's for the right to potentially force a shootout. As you can see, Dave McNamara now holds all the aces. A win against Tony Blount, a draw against Tony Blount will take him through to the quarterfinals. Craig Lakin and Karl Sutton here need to win. Either one of those needs to win to potentially force a shootout. They are waiting in the wings should David McNamara falter against Tony Blount. Well, what a win for David that was. It looked for a while as if the man on the left of your picture there, Craig Lakin, was going to take the victory, and that really would have opened the group right up for both Craig and Karl here and for Dave to all potentially qualify or maybe have a shootout. Those odds that were provided to you there were taken from before the night started. I dare say Craig would enter this match at this stage as the favourite over Karl Sutton.
With the way they played so far, probably fair, but that last match is going to be very difficult for Craig to put that last match out of his head, because he's only had 4 or 5 minutes to deal with that, because he was 3-1 in front in that match. Oh, and there you go.
Oh, so, well, we've waited all tournament to have a golden break, and we've had 2 in 2 frames. Could you write it? Poor Craig Lakin doesn't know where to look.
I mean, I'm looking at Craig's face here on the left more than I am the 8 ball. That's incredible. I mean, it's so difficult, so hard for him to take. He's just had to sit there and have a match taken away from him from a golden break, and this match starts with a golden break. Absolutely incredible.
I think Karl feels bad for laughing. I think he's trying to keep a straight face.
We should also point out that this is week 6, and they are the first 2 golden breaks we've seen in this competition as well.
That is genuinely remarkable. Absolutely incredible. As Simon says, six weeks we've had. At this point we've had 34 matches. This being the 35th, we've had 1 golden break, and it came in the last frame of the 34th match. In the first frame of the 35th, we have our second. So something London buses. But
yeah, I'd love to see the total number of frames we've had, and then we've had back-to-back frames of the golden break. It's incredible, really, but it is going to be tough for. I was saying before that golden break, when it's going to be tough for Craig Lakin to take how that last match finished. Well, now he's got to sort of suck it up and then get going again in this match.
Trailing 1 frame to 0. Time running.
Well, what odds of another one? Here comes Craig Lakin. 8 balls on the move again. Well, credit to Craig Lakin, because he's hit the best break of the night for him. It's his best break by a mile. He's crunched those. He was due one of those.
Reds in play.
Well, no rest for the wicked. Craig's got to screw his head on and get down to business. And if you can whip these Reds away in next to no time, that'll just settle them back down a little bit. It's a must-win for these two players, don't forget. It still doesn't guarantee anything. They are both relying on Tony Blount producing a performance against the bang-in-form Dave McNamara, which is very much odds against. But as we've seen, Tony Blount has given both of these players a really good game. So don't rule anything out. Both these two will know it. And the way that this night has ended up, you never quite know.
Extension called.
Grace called his extension because he's just run a little bit too far on position, and now getting onto the last red's tricky.
Well, that makes it easier.
Yeah, he'll take that. And this is a tricky little black, but he'll take it.
This for 1-1. It's a tough one to take for Craig Lakin. It really is. Right now, Karl Sutton with the second frame of this match at his mercy. Yeah, I think everyone can resonate with how Craig Lakin's feeling currently. That's a puff of the cheeks that everyone felt.
Well, 3.5 frames ago, he was in the driving seat in this group, wasn't he? He was the man to beat. It looked like he was going to win that previous match, and all that would mean is any point in this match would have been enough to get him through. But all of a sudden, it's looking at very long odds that he's going to have any opportunity of staying in the group tonight. Needs a win a win for both players will give them an opportunity of maybe going through with a shootout, depending on other results.
That was a trickier shot than it looked. He managed the white quite well there, Karl. Hasn't ended up exactly where he expected to, because he wasn't playing it off the jaw, but he's okay.
Yeah, I think he tried to move the yellow, even though it wouldn't have been a great option, but it's just the angle he left. It was difficult not to. He'd be happy with the way it came out.
Well, soon to be 2-0 in next to no time.
And there it goes. It is 2-0 to Karl Sutton and Craig Lakin. He can be very frustrated with the two golden breaks back to back, but that frame there, he had the first opportunity and just overran his positional shot by a few foot, which made that last positional shot really tricky, which in the end ended up being a very difficult 8-ball, which he left hanging over the pocket, and Karl Sutton said thank you very much. So he's every right to be frustrated, sat in his chair. And we can now go and find out what David McNamara thought of that golden break as he's with Stephen Jameson.
Yeah, we've pulled him down off the ceiling. Dave, that was a ridiculous end to the last match. And you called it.
Yeah, I did, yeah. I got a bit of fortune on the frame before, and I said to Craig, sorry about that, but I'm going to golden break you now. And he went, yeah, you probably will. And it happened, you know. My dad just texted me saying he had a bet on it as well. So, you know, so happy days all around.
And you were telling me just beforehand as well, it's something that you practice. You moved it over to the cut break. It was a deliberate ploy to try and get that 8-ball on the move.
Yeah. When I have been practicing, I've probably done it 2 out of every 10, you know. So I thought I'll give it a go. I've been breaking well down the middle, had a few break dishes tonight, but I thought, you know what, just give it a go. It was only 30 seconds on the clock, get the black moving. and it did. And I was looking at the black the whole way as well, and I seen it cannon about 45 balls to go in. So it was one of them. I tried it. It happens. Can't go again.
Got to be one of the sweetest moments you've had at a table in a good long while, eh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the clock and I was like 6 minutes left, 7 minutes left. I was 3-1 down, and I said, if I just break dish here, I've got a chance. And then I broke dish, and then I got a massive bit of luck. But I had to keep it long yellowing, and I was shaking a bit. I was a bit nervous on that. Got it, and then thought, you know, it's got to happen. And obviously, I'm absolutely buzzing. Phone just exploded. Went on there to text my dad saying he owes me a pint. But you know, so it's one of them. I'm absolutely made up, but I've still got a job to do against Tony.
You certainly have. We wish you all the very best of luck for that.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Back to you, Si.
Oh, you could tell David McNamara is still absolutely buzzing after that. It was amazing end to that match, and golden break capped it off. But as he said in that interview, 3-1 behind, not that long on the clock, some turnaround, and a lot of it was down to his good play. And he does put qualification completely in his own hands. Any point in his last match, regardless of what happens here, as we've already said, he will be the man going through tonight. Stephen Chambers rejoined me. Great player to interview, isn't he? David McNamara, fantastic on and off the table.
I don't think there'd be a bad interviewee if they'd just done that on the table. Absolutely buzzing, as you might expect. He's always a good catch-up, is Dave McNamara, but he's on particular fine form, as you might expect after that result out on the table. You know, we've been talking all evening, haven't we, about how this whole evening, as it were, this group can change on the turn of a ball, on the drop of a ball, in an instant. And Craig Lakin went from the box office seat in this group with a minute and a half, 2 minutes to play of his second match, and to be turned around in that sort of fashion, one, must be very, very difficult to take. But for us as spectators, supporters, fans of the sport, goodness me, it's entertaining to watch.
It is, isn't it? We both nearly fell out of our chair, didn't we? We really did. We both jumped up. It was incredible. And I'll tell you what else was incredible was that final positional shot from Karl Sutton. It was not the angle he wanted. He had to thread the needle, and it absolutely fantastic. And a great finish following that missed opportunity from Craig Lakin. And this match is only really going one way, and you can't really be surprised with the power or the punishment that Craig took at the end of that last match and the beginning of this.
Well, there is Karl Sutton. He remains stoic, shall we say, but I think even he will struggle to believe that the way that this sort of last 20 minutes turned around for himself as well, because it is, I mean, you've had it against you, Simon, I know, in your career, when it just feels like the world doesn't want you to win a match. It is tremendously difficult to recover from that mentally, isn't it?
Yeah, you always feel like, sometimes you feel like you make a mistake and you bring it on yourself. Sometimes you just think it's always going against you. You have to kind of put those out your mind if you can. It's not easy to do, though, that's for sure. And you get chances like these when, okay, this isn't a very good break from Craig. Doesn't catch it. You can see how he doesn't get that front ball very square on at all. But you still make a ball, and you look up and you think, oh, this could be an opportunity, and then 2 or 3 balls go safe on the last roll, and all of a sudden it's a difficult chance.
Yeah, to the point where it's like a safety shot first up from Craig Lakin. He says, over to you. And Karl could potentially go aggressive here. He has got time to play with, time on his side, and the benefit of doing so, winning this frame would win in the match. And that's what Craig was hoping for, an opening, because now the table doesn't look so bad.
Yeah, and the speed and the golden break helps, of course, but the speed of those first 3 frames means that this match isn't over. We saw that in the previous one. Craig Lakin was 3-1 up. So if Craig can find something positive, we know he plays at a pace.
I was going to say, pace won't be a problem for him.
Yeah, that he's more than capable of turning it round in terms of the time left in this match. And this is a great chance now.
Yeah, just warn against complacency here for Craig, which sounds like a strange thing to say, but the amount that his head will have wobbled in the last 10 minutes, this might seem like a routine clearance, but he really wants to make sure, because any miss at this stage obviously puts him out of the competition. Game over.
I think he's just about, might have to screw on and off the cushion here, because he can't roll down for this in the centre. Yeah, on and off the cushion's fine. Been a very good finish.
Well, he's banged that in at a rate of knots.
Rewarded for that safety shot he played at the start of the frame. You 3-0 down, and you think, you could be forgiven for, pushing the boat out and going for something a little bit too crazy. But he played a good safety. Almost forced Karl's hand to go for something, and the miss comes up, and a great finish from Craig. So he's still thinking correctly and thinking positively, which is good to see.
Yeah, a reminder of how we currently sit in the table tonight. This is a decider really for who could challenge David McNamara by challenging to a shootout. Either one of these two win this match, it will give them 4 points total, and they can tie Dave McNamara should he fall short against Tony Blount. Even then, they would be relying on a shootout to advance through to this quarter-final. So it's all in Dave McNamara's hands. He's earned that right with 2 wins.
Time running.
But these two still have plenty to play for. Is Karl going to break dry? I think he is. Well, the Reds are a bit of a problem. Craig would love this to be a really good chance. But the way that 8 balls just end up with the
Ball's in
red
play.
makes it difficult.
Not impossible though, yeah. He might be able to open it up off this shot. Oh, he's tried and he's got very close, but not to be.
Now yellows look very, very inviting, don't they?
Yeah, I think the 8 ball still goes at the top of the table. There's a couple of yellows that are awkward, but they do have pockets, and that positional shot's fantastic because that gives them the chance. It was the yellows towards this bottom right-hand corner that were the most awkward.
Well, it goes without saying that to win a match, to win the group, you've got to play a lot of really, really top quality pool. That goes without saying. But you do also need a little bit of lady luck to run your way as well. And it's safe to say Craig Lakin's not had that at all tonight.
I've been very impressed with the way he's played tonight. I really have. He's especially expecting him to come in fairly rusty. You know, I think he's looked very good. And there are times I've seen him in the shootout, and he's, for whatever reason, he's not quite been able to put it together and not play his best. But you know, tonight it's just he's played well. It's just not quite happened.
Lovely shot down the rail, both from cameraman and from Karl Sutton. And this to secure second place and, for the time being, tie things up with Dave McNamara at the top of the table. Could use that red as a blocker. Just hold the cue ball. Karl Sutton to get himself out of there with 2 wins out of 3. And he's done that really nicely. Takes the win over Craig Lakin. 4 frames to 1 in the end. Karl Sutton gets the victory. A really good performance from him. 9:30 still left on the watch, which might be one of the quickest matches we've seen in the whole tournament in the end. Helps when you get a golden break, of course. But Karl was very good when, even without that, only 1 missed pot was clinical.
Yeah, he was, and I don't think Craig did a huge amount wrong himself, to be honest with you. The golden break was tough to take, and he still, the frame he won, he still took out very, very well. Missed a couple of opportunities, but didn't do a huge amount wrong. Similar story, really, against the way he played in his previous match. He really probably did enough that he could have won that previous match, and he didn't do a huge amount wrong in this one. So it's been a tough night for Craig Lakin, but Karl Sutton gets the win, and you know, he very much deserved in terms of the way he played on his side of the table.
Yeah, great performance there from Karl Sutton. He takes the win, as we say, ties himself up at the top of the table. He's relying on a slip-up, though, from Dave McNamara, who has the chance to qualify for the quarterfinals when we come back.
This programme is brought to you by Vinny.co.uk.